Here's an interesting question. I went to a coaches training that lasted about 5 hours, and we got to spend a lot of that time with Gary and Mark Willis. Mark, for those of you who don't know, Mark Willis is the president of Keller Williams. And but the most powerful thing I got from that entire sequence, and I said, maybe I need to bring this up to our folks. When it comes to lead generation, is lead generation easy? I mean, how many of you just lead generation just falls in your lap? It's simple, but it's not easy. Okay. And so we can teach class after class after class of lead generation, which is what I'm hoping this becomes, and more people keep coming to it. But if you teach fearless principles to fearful people, how much actually changes?
They gotta change themselves.
So here's the question I want you to write down, whether you're online or whether you're in person. I want you to write this down. I really want you to think about this question as the week comes up. I think this is for everybody. Do you want to stretch? And if you wrote that down, I want you to rewrite it. Do I want to stretch? Do I really, hey Stephanie?
I'm like any other time I've got 12.
I recognize that because I've done that exactly. There's this. So do I want to stretch? Because if you're not like the Shannon Doziers of the world or the Matt Braswells of the world, where you just walk into a room and you lead with three leads, you're gonna have to learn to stretch. I had to learn to stretch. Sometimes people look at me 23 years into the business and they say, well, look how easy that is for him. Yeah, that was a train wreck at first, just like most people. Okay, so do I want to stretch? And then that really comes back to the next question. So are you coachable or uncoachable? What do you think I mean by that question? Are you coachable or uncoachable?
Are you willing to learn?
Are you willing to learn? Okay, I love that answer. What else does it mean? Sorry? Are you set in your ways? Yeah.
Are you ready to act?
Are you ready to act? How many in here are Chiefs fans? I mean, just about everybody in Kansas City is a Chiefs fan. You win 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, all of a sudden everybody's football crazy, right? But how many of you can quickly identify a player that shouldn't be on the field? With all of your vast football knowledge, and you ask yourself, why is that person on the field? Okay, probably because in practice, they were willing to do the things that other players weren't willing to do. They were willing to go out and they were being coachable of what to do. They were also willing to risk the failure of doing it. Like I'm a huge basketball fan, and I'll have, it's always fascinating to me that every year Bill Self will talk about one player who is a stud in practice, but for whatever reason he can't put it together in the game. But he keeps getting his chances because of what he does in practice. And some of you are going, what does this have to do with lead generation today? It has everything to do with lead generation today. Are you willing to take something, learn something, keep grasping at everything until you figure out what works for you? And are you willing to fail enough at it to become really good at it? I mean, I go back because it's still up there. All the blog posts I wrote since 2006 are still out there. I'll go back and I'll read some of them. Not only is there a misspelling, and I hate misspellings, like, oh, I've got to fix this. Like, no one's reading it anymore, but I've got to fix this. Okay, so that's a failure. Even my point is a failure, or a stand I took turned out to be wrong. Are you willing to risk it? Are you willing to risk it? Is the question. So that's something to think about. And you don't have to answer me. You can send me an email if you like. But if you really want to meditate on that question, am I willing to stretch? And really think about that for yourself. Because if you're not, Save you the time. Just keep taking what's coming to you. Okay, instead of going out and taking what you want. All right, so this is the Millionaire Real Estate Agent Playbook, Volume 2. Let me just tell you that they sold out of these at Mega Camp, and there will not be any more. They're on back order till October. Nathan has a copy, Megan has a copy, and because he's on my team, good old Luke over here has a copy. But if you want some, after I talk about this a little bit, order it through the front desk. Just say, hey, listen, I need one of those playbooks, MREA playbooks. Now, how many people understand I don't make a dime for talking about these kinds of materials? It was $25 at Mega Camp. I'm assuming that's what it is here. It is filled with thing after thing after thing, little one-pagers that you could build an entire business around. What I wanted to talk to you today, as far as lead generation goes. Now, Wayne did that excellent training that's on YouTube about putting together your database. Okay. I followed it up, but this is how you interact with your database. But let's get specific. We can do open houses, and I haven't done open houses really hard for like 20 years, at least 15 years. So I want to get somebody that really does open houses at a high level to teach that soon. But I do want to talk about the hobby hustle. And this thing, I'm telling you, on the airplane, I'm just sitting here looking at it going, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Because these were a lot of things that I was doing. And I did them in my own unique way. But I'm sitting here going, that's right, that's right, that's right. Some of you have heard me talk about it. So let's look at the hobby hustle. And I know if you're online, you can't see this. I apologize. If you come in and you ask Megan or Nathan to make you a copy of the hobby hustle, they will be happy to.
I just emailed them.
You just emailed them a copy. That's even better, right? So fantastic. So in just 5 easy steps, you can do it too. So Luke, will you read number 1 out loud, please?
Identify.
Yep, please.
Identify the hobby with the most upside. Consider the following. What do you enjoy? How many people are in the group? What value can you add?
Okay, so let's just pause right there. Everybody take your pen and paper, and you can use this, you can write on it, so we can make more copies of it. What is something you truly enjoy doing? Don't look at me like you've got something.
No, I got a lot of things I do, but
So what's something you truly enjoy doing? Write that down. How many people in your little circle are there, but then do a slash and say, how many people in Kansas City probably do this? Isn't it amazing? Some of you are going to get this immediately, and some of them I'm going to explain a little bit better. Isn't it amazing how many subcultures there are in America? I'll never forget when I was a sports photographer, I did soccer and lacrosse all up and down the East Coast. And then somebody came up to me, this woman about this tall, brown hair. She goes, I really like the work you did for my son. Would you come take pictures of our cheerleaders? How many cheerleaders are we talking about? She said, about 2,500. They will all be at the Capitol Arena in suburban Washington, D.C. She goes, we're having a little to do. And I go over to the Capitol Center. It's now torn down. I go over there, and it looks like the Washington Bullets are playing. The parking lot is full, and there's all these really done-up little girls and their parents, and the dad's being drugged along and all this kind of stuff. And I walked in, and when I walked out 11 hours later, if I ever heard another high-energy song again in my life, I was going to become a serial killer. Like, just like it was not my thing. But the place was almost full with an entire subculture of people who are really into cheering. Okay, that opened up my eyes, even in my late 20s, going, holy cow! I didn't realize. I had no idea. Okay, so what is your subculture? So for me, bicycling. I'm getting a little older, and I don't ride as much now. But bicycling was very much a thing. And it was very much a thing I can name person after person I've given referrals to that have bought houses because of my bicycling. There's a trail right out here. Every Saturday morning and every Sunday after church, I had a meetup. I just got onto meetup.com. Okay. But there are hundreds and thousands of casual bicyclists all around Kansas City. Everybody following me so far? So what's your hobby? Who wants to yell out some hobbies that they think that maybe they haven't been spending enough time in?
Spending time with your
Spending time with your children? Okay. That's probably not the hobby I'm talking about, but okay,
Well, okay, but like, let's take it this way, going to the park with your children.
okay.
Play groups.
Yeah, play.
There, now you're talking.
Yeah,
Coaching
Yeah.
soccer,
yeah.
Coaching soccer.
I play piano, I enjoy playing music.
I'm jealous. I love music, but I can't play it very well. So that, what do you do though that's a hobby that you can invite others to participate with you?
Fishing.
We have a pickleball group. We have we have 20 moms. We all go play pickleball
Oh,
on Monday
that's
nights,
nice.
There you go.
Where do you guys play?
in Shawnee.
Okay. Are you finding people talking to you about real estate at all?
Well, I've got about 3 clients in that group. So yeah, we're always talking about houses also.
There you go. What I liked about the bicycle group starting here is the hours that I was giving you, we don't have unlocked doors, do we? If people are meeting you, and especially if they're casual bicyclists, is it possible someone's gonna need to use the restroom? Somebody forgot their water? I always had spare bicycle bottles in my office back here in the corner that I could go, hey, I can get you a water. And then I would be the guy that would open up the door, get them a bottle and send them in. So guess what I just told them? He's the realtor dealer. Right? So, but pickleball, whatever it is, it is. So who wants to read number 2? Read it.
Pay 3 days to add value to the chosen hobby. What do the members need? What is your budget, and share your occupation without selling?
How can you do that? How do you add value? I just told you how I did. I had water bottles, I had bathrooms. I was the guy organizing the ride. At that point, I was riding about 100 miles a week. The Saturday morning ride was generally filled with serious cyclists. Like we would leave the parking lot. Next thing I know, we're down by Bucyrus or over in Lawrence. Okay? The Sunday bicycle ride was filled with people who looked just like the people in this room. They would come with bicycles that like we would actually do some repairs on them out in the parking lot.
We won't be offended by.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying though? They weren't people who looked like they were gonna go on a 100-mile ride. Okay, so they would come and again, you have to adapt to the kind of group. And by the way, I would set that up in the meetup by saying, hey, we will ride a minimum of 50 miles. We generally run a pace around 15.5 to 17.5 miles an hour, which immediately drops out people who don't think they can do that. But on the Sunday one, it always said, anybody and everybody welcome. Bring any bike you have, we're gonna be on the paths. Right? And so we started getting people going. So that's how I added value. What was my budget on that, by the way? $60 a year for meetup? Maybe I can't remember what the fee was, but it wasn't much. Okay. And so I shared my occupation without selling. What's something you can do to share in what you like doing? Coaching soccer is easy. Just you get your name on the jersey, buy the jerseys. What are some other ideas?
Bunko group, like neighborhood Bunko groups, along the PTA,
So you're like the social butterfly in the room.
on a lot of groups. I can't say I've always got a lot of business groups, but everybody knows kind of who I am.
Okay. So if you keep doing that, how long have you been in real estate now?
3 years.
3 years? Okay. So maybe start being more purposeful, which we'll talk around on this. You can have a hackers collective. Just kidding.
No,
So-
I like to go to a cigar shop in Gardner.
Okay.
Got a lot of interesting people there, business owners, Kansas State rep. That's filled with a lot of interesting people, so.
There you go. You can have a Q&A night about real estate. Cigars are on me.
You guys had people like rent out this room
Yes,
for meetings for like other organizations and stuff.
Tony Long used to be
Is
an
that-
agent in this office. Tony Long is a very prominent agent, especially if you go into Northeast Johnson County. And every December, this turned into a winter wonderland. You had Santa come in, and from basically 10 in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, people would just come walking through that door on a Saturday. And he invited me in a couple of times, and
Because that seems like a good thing though, because this is a great teaching room and it's hard to find spaces like this if you have a group you're involved in, like, hey, we could use the Keller Williams room.
today at 2 o'clock, there will be about 40 people from property management all over Kansas City in here to talk about the new Kansas City, Missouri laws. All I need is one more set of new laws in my life. That would be really great. But this room is going to be a training facility that promotes not only this office, but me. Because I'm of my standing in the property management field, right? I've had small groups in here. Gary Morrison runs a very successful networking group that meets here. It used to meet here on Thursday morning, but I don't know if they still do. He's kind of sick right now, so I think they put it on.
Yeah.
He's got some health challenges. So, but the, you can use it, if it's not being used and you're a real estate agent, you can use it. You can use this room. Great point. Okay. So who wants to read number 3?
I will develop 2 to 3 strategies to market yourself and show your value. Highlight your expertise, experience, and unique selling propositions. Showcase testimonials from previous clients to enhance credibility. Identify the different roles and professions represented within your hobby members.
There you go. Like, I know nothing about pickleball. It just seems like old man tennis to me, but I don't know. So I'm not calling you old man, by the way. So, but like, do they supply the pickleballs, or do you guys supply the pickleballs, or
Everybody brings around.
everybody brings their own? What is a pickleball with your logo on it cost? I don't know either.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about what's a unique sort of a way that you can attach yourself to the group or pay for a round of drinks or something along those lines. And you already said you have 3 clients in the group, right? Okay, so when it says highlight your expertise, experience, unique selling propositions, when somebody would ask me about real estate, I would go, oh, and that guy back there in the purple jersey, if you talk to him, he's bought a house from me, so you can ask him what it was like. And then I would just drop it. But I don't want to spend the next 7 miles talking about me. But I would drop it, you know what I would usually see somewhere along the rest of that day? He's talking to the guy in the purple. Right? You could use that, go talk to them. I'm not going to talk about how wonderful I am. They'll tell you. Just have fun with that. So what are you guys hearing in this so far?
Well, I mean, for me, I feel like this is something that I don't capitalize on enough, because I think about like my girls, they're football teams, and I volunteered at school, and I'm in a bunch of different like prayer groups and adult faith classes at church, and just all the different, and I don't feel like I am getting enough business from all those different areas of my life that I could be, but I struggle with it a little bit. I mean, I love that you've got 3 clients from your group, because I'm like, I don't like,
Well,
I don't wanna be the
I already
person-
had those clients.
oh, you already had those clients, okay, well,
So it wasn't from that.
right.
But make no mistake, they're there.
So how to, and a lot of times it'll come up just in the course of conversation, just like if you're in a small group or something and you go around and introduce yourself as, what's your name, what do you do, how long you've been at this church or whatever, but just trying to capitalize on all of those connections.
Is it okay to have a safe space?
I think there's only one right answer to that, yes, it is.
Right, so you're right. So listen, Luke was a pastor at the church that I go to. And he's asked me about that. I just have never marketed myself at church. It's not good. It's not bad. It's not anything. It's just, that's where I go for my spiritual growth. Lots of people know I'm in real estate. It's just not where I choose to go that extra conversational,
It's kind of icky when people
that extra point.
themselves at church, I think.
Well, it's just something I choose not to do. Okay. That doesn't make it right or wrong or bad or good or whatever. It just means it's something I choose not to do. But I did look for ways on my bicycling group to do that.
So can you give an example, like a specific scenario where you were able to bring it up or introduce yourself as a realtor to people who did not know that?
Well, we're riding down the road and there's Stephanie's for sale sign. I go, hey, that agent's in my office.
So it's more just letting them know that's your profession, it's
Yes.
not really asking for
Yes.
business.
Yeah. Now, if you let people know who you are, what are the chances that somebody asks you any sort of question about real estate?
Sure, yeah.
Here's what's weird about real estate agents. Real estate agents feel icky if I ask you to join my mailing list. And yet, if I don't ask her, she's still gonna go home and watch 3 hours of HGTV that night. It's women's sports. Listen, in my wife circle, everybody watches HGTV. I can tell you as a team leader, everybody that comes in here and wants to be a real estate agent watches HGTV in those houses. It makes me crazy, okay? Because it's not real life. But real estate is entertainment. Why are we hiding from that? Why don't we become the entertainment go-to person? So you're using, and I guess that's kind of why I've kind of avoided the whole church sort of a thing for me, sort of thing. But you're using your hobby as part of an extension of yourself in your business. I'm creating reasons for us to have a conversation, and then we'll have a conversation. But I'm going to keep it very soft. We're on bicycling. I don't want to talk about real estate. This is my fun. But can I add you to my mailing list when we get back? And then before you leave, I'm gonna go, hey, I'll add you to the mailing list. Great. I chose to compartmentalize.
Yeah.
And I think,
Yeah, and I was bringing up church just as another, like, just something that.
hey, by the way, remember Jim Smith?
Yeah.
He was the old guy in here
Yeah.
that sold real estate for
Yeah.
30 years. If you can find 15 people at the Church of the Nazarene that haven't bought a house through Jim Smith, I would like to know who they are. Everybody used Jim Smith. Again, not good, not bad. He was so into his church. That's where he basically lived when he wasn't selling real estate. But it got to a point where you couldn't tell the difference. The guy that sold me my home down here at Ed Russell back in 2004, he was an agent in this office. He was so ingrained in the Citizens Police Department. What is that thing? There's a Citizens Police Department for Olathe. He was also in the Chamber of Commerce. He was so ingrained in service in the city of Olathe that 90% of his clients came from that.
And I guess, I mean, I have a closing tomorrow, and the listing I have right now is somebody who was a small group of retreat with me at church. And it's not like, I asked for her business, it's just like, we all did an introduction, what do you do? I'm a realtor, so it never really came up, but then later on, she was kind of just, what's the market like? And then that kind of led, but I wasn't like actively like trying to.
There you go.
All my small group people on my mailing list, but I just feel like in general, I have all these different connections, I'm just not
You do small,
capitalizing on.
you do small groups at your house.
No, we usually do them at church, yeah.
Well,
So I'm the same way. I don't like to push.
Right, yeah.
I keep it subtle, but I mean,
Yeah. But I have
People
thought,
sick. I think what I try to do is just be aware and not like keep my awareness high enough. And if I'm if I'm at school and I have new people, just, hey, connect with them on Facebook, but I'm trying to get them on my Facebook business page, I can get them on, but they're just connected with me on my regular Facebook,
Right.
and I kind of try to pull them over, but I'm not signing people up on my mailing list until I'm.
Right.
talking to them.
Yes.
I just feel like that's pushing it too far.
Have any of you ever been to a farm? Okay, have you ever tried to like get a horse or a cow to come to you? Do you know how not to get a horse or especially a horse to come to you? Come here, come here, come here, come here, that horse is gonna take off. We just had 30 goats delivered to our house yesterday, okay? You wanna not get close to the goats? Hey, touch you. Right? What you do is you just sort of like, it's like fishing. Hey, let me just tell you a little bit about. So turn around, so walk this way, and that horse will follow you. That bull will follow you. You know, if you go fishing, throw it out, have it move it around a little bit, and then when you hook it, you don't just yank it out, because what's gonna happen, you're gonna lose it. Let it go for a bit, come back, come back, come back. If you jump in the water and started chasing fish, good luck. It's not gonna work. If I loved this model, because when I looked at this, I said, I was doing this. Jason didn't call me to put this together, but this is what I was doing. What if you got really purposeful about one sort of hobby area of your life? Say, this area right here is going to be how I learn to master the art of subtlety in my conversations. Going back to the whole church thing, I can name 2 people right now that have approached me over the years because they had very sensitive situations going on in their lives. Not my small group, they had sensitive situations, and they called me and said, I'm probably not gonna use you as a realtor, but could you give me some information? And I said, yes. It was more of a ministry for me. Right? See, we keep thinking, okay, this is my ministry life. This is my spiritual life. And I just told you, I'm really good at compartmentalizing, but I'm also really good at recognizing where to push that wall down. Just leave it be.
I think I'm probably just too soft on this, like, I don't bring it up in conversations very probably, but.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not, and I'm not someone I'm church, I'm not like when I'm, you know, sitting in a softball tournament all day long, you know. 5 hours, same.
It was like, in that case, try to figure out where everybody lives. And even if I'm not right, because I'm like, okay, I figured this, I know all the subdivisions, and then I'll just drop it all like, oh my God, I saw a house in your subdivision today. And that's all I said,
I love
they had a beautiful kitchen, have you ever, you know that person? Or like, oh man, that house sold, and even though I'm not talking to them about selling or anything. But I'm just kind of saying, oh, I was in your area the other day. Right. A little stalkerish, but not.
Well, it's okay to be a little, it's also okay to, like, again, real estate is entertainment for most of the country. Why are you not telling the stories of the weird stuff?
Well, can I say something too? I also feel like.
I've been a realtor for 2 weeks now.
I know, I have another stuff. I'll show myself. I also feel like you're talking about hobbies, that's related to who you are already. When you're talking about real estate, that's related to what you do. Now, obviously, some people probably identify unhealthily with what they do, but it's like your hobbies are already something you love, and through your hobbies, it's like you give people access to who you really are.
So go deeper.
And then it just happens to be, well, yeah, this is what I do.
So
And they
go back to
already
who you
know
are.
Who you are. It's like, I think that's what really connects with people there.
They know, like, and trust you.
Because, yeah, and you connect with people through what you already
Because
love.
why? Because why? You're almost there, seriously. When you're in your hobby, you are who you are, and you begin to connect with people, but why?
Because they're like you.
Because you're like me. You're okay, you're like me. You love Civil War reenactments.
How did you know?
You love all these, listen, there are subcultures that some of you are hiding from that you could just be a part of and generate your business. My blogging, my mom used to call, this is true, I've said it, I'll keep saying, it. My mom would call me and say, you can't say that. And I would be like, yes, I can, it's my blog. She goes, but people won't wanna work with you, and I was like, that's okay. Not everybody's gonna like me, Mom. I'm not here to attract everybody. I got more people who bought homes from me because I made fun of the University of Missouri than probably didn't use me. Okay? I know that sounds weird, it's a weird thing, if you're a deep Jayhawk, you understand.
Totally
You
understand,
get it.
absolutely.
Exactly. For those of you that haven't heard, for those of you that heard, just hear me out for 45 seconds. But in that closing room right there, there was a closing, and after the closing, the couple started whispering. The title lady went back to, it was platinum title at the time, and they started whispering, and that's never good, right? Like you're okay. What's fun? So I said, hey, please speak up. What are you talking about? And they go, well, we're not sure, we should tell you something. Like, mortgage fraud, what's going on? And they said, well, we both graduated from the University of Missouri. And I looked at him, I said, that's it? They're like, yes. I said, no, listen, I know I make fun of Missouri a lot, but I'll take your money. Like I'm glad to have helped you and everything, and I'm glad that you're buying in Kansas. And we all kind of laughed about it a little bit, but they actually were worried that I wouldn't work with them if they knew they were Missouri graduates, okay? But they liked the expertise I had in investments. Okay, so what I'm trying to say though is you gotta be you and be willing to be. And I think when Luke was making the point about these kinds of things, the reason I was going there is how many of us have this curtain that we don't want to open for other people to see? Open the curtain. You'll feel empowered. If you're a nerd, be a nerd, man. If you're into sports, be into sports. If you're into church, be into church. If you're into civic service, be into civic service. If you're into pickleball, no matter how much a guy like me makes fun of pickleball, be into pickleball. Right? Like I had friends all the time when we had a house on the lake, you wanna go fishing? I said, I'll go with you. And I'd show up and they'd be like, where's your rod and reels? I got cooler. Like if I throw something in the water, now I'm gonna have to get up, I'm gonna have to reel it in. I don't wanna do any of that. I got beers here, we're good. They go, you're really not gonna fish? I said, no, I'm spending the day with you. I thought that's what fishing really was. Right? So I'm just who I am. And I think as I've gotten older, I'm more comfortable with just saying, it's okay if you don't like me. I'm all right with that. And we don't have to be enemies. If we're enemies, now we're gonna have a problem. But if you just don't like me, I get that.
It's just weird that the best thing you can do for your business is to focus on something that's not your business. It's just counterintuitive to me.
Yes, and by the way, you are in a business. What is the difference between your real estate business and you?
Product.
The public doesn't see a difference. You know how I can prove that to you? They'll call you at 8:30 at night and ask you a real estate question. They don't even think they're bothering you. They really don't. If they're asking for a discount on the commission or a friend or, hey, by the way, I listed with somebody else, but I have these questions. They don't see you as a person at that point. They see you as a business. This is a weird business. And if you can't put boundaries around it, that's a whole other thing. But also break those boundaries down. You are real estate to people. You two back there and you're all kind of brand new right now. You are to people, they're watching and they're saying, well, I don't know if I trust them yet. You have to go out and maybe sell outside of your sphere, get some deals done through open houses or for sale by owners or expireds to go out and build a rep in your big friend group before they trust you. Sorry, that's just the truth.
So where I have, I guess, a little bit of an issue is that difference between me and the business. And like I know a lot of people, I have their addresses, I have, we're very civil, like anybody I've met before, I've already got their information. And I could easily send them things and I out mailers. But sending the email directly to them is the thing that kind of. It's
Feels like you're crossing the line.
reluctant about because. I feel like now I'm getting pushy. And even though it's not sending it very often, but it's like,
Is that
I
you
don't
or them?
really know that person enough.
I do handwritten note cards for people like that, people in my group like that, who I know them, like. I've known them since my kids were in kindergarten, and I'll just send them like, cause I feel like that's very personal, like a handwritten note card where I say. Hey, hope your summer's going well, hope, school year's starting.
That's
You know,
fine, the range,
but you-
but how do you get
you
them
know-
every month?
Huh?
How do you reach them every month?
Well, I
You know?
probably not sending everything.
Well, if you're seeing them in pickleball, that is a touch.
But that's fine.
Playing pickleball is
I'm
one
saying
thing.
other,
No,
the
I
rest of my group.
I get what you're saying, and
That I feel is business when I'm pushing the email of, hey, here's what's happening.
do you listen to yourself talk?
I'm probably very reluctant.
I'm pushing. That's your point of view. That's your point of view. And what I would say is if you're sending out stuff to be pushing, it's probably gonna be received that way. But if you're sending out stuff that's of value to them, hey, I just wanted you to know these 2 houses sold within half a mile of you, and I think these are similar to your floor plan. Just thought you'd be curious. Because they're probably gonna watch HGTV at least for half an hour at one point this week anyway.
Right. And I
It's-
have a problem with those type of emails,
Well,
but
then
it's
yeah.
like the bigger ones that gotta have 32 touches and like you gotta be sending these things. And I'm like,
Okay.
it just doesn't feel like me.
Do you know what's fun? When you go to mega camp, when you go to family reunion, do you know how many different ways there are of making $1 million in savings? And by the way, if you don't wanna make $1 million, if you just wanna be like some people in this office who just wanna make 300 or 400,000 and work about 25 to 30 hours a week, is that okay too? Like, the best thing you can do for your people is to be you or just be all of you. Sometimes I have people say, well, my friend group doesn't use me. What they're saying is, I'm not sure I trust you yet with my biggest asset. Now, a few of them are saying, I don't want you to know my personal situation. I've actually listed homes within a mile of here, where each time they said, do you know such and such in the office? Yeah, would you rather use them? They're like, no. I go to church with them. Or no. And it's not that they don't like the agent, they don't want the agent to know what's going on in their life. And I was always like, well, you know what? They're gonna find out. They're gonna find out that the house she sells, she just. I remember when she's like, what are you gonna tell them? I said, I'm just gonna tell them that you just like my marketing and that. That we just really hit it off, and I asked for the sale and we signed the paper, she just good, thank you. Right? Because once I sign that thing, I'm now their fiduciary, I'll take the hit with the agent in the office. See where I'm going with that? These are real life situations. But if you're not giving up, just start asking yourself, remember, what was the opening question I had for everybody?
Stretch.
Are you willing to stretch? Are you projecting somebody that I could go give my $400,000 listing to and feel like it's gonna happen? If you don't think you are, ask yourself, how do I become that person in their eyes? Little stories. While you're playing pickleball, while you're in your sewing group, while you're in your bicycle group, while you're in your hackers collective, I'm sorry, I'm assigning that to you, even though I'm not saying so, but while you're doing that, you look for that pause in the conversations, you go, man. Let me tell you about this closing I had the other day. I'm not gonna give any names or addresses, but wow. At the last minute, and you tell these stories and you kind of create the hero in you about, I am so glad that I went to the trainings at my office to figure out how to do this because I was really able to help this person. But man, oh man, what a story. That's marketing. That's marketing.
Well, and I think to your point, like, it's just your life, which I think like social media, like Instagram, like my Instagram, Facebook too, it's not like me as realtor me as mom,
Mhm.
me as church person, you know, whatever, it's just my life. It's just my life. My life happens to include my kids, my husband, my church, and my real estate, my dog. It's just me. And so it's all those things that I'm posting all day. It's just like my day, you know, in my life, and it's all these crazy things that might happen or things that I wanna share with people. So I think, and my point is like, I think social media helps us get to where you're talking, where it's just you, it's just, you know, so it's not like just your email about real estate, social media, it can just be like all these different things. Shoot, look, all these different things, you know, I'm on the trail, or you're riding a bike, or whatever, you're going on a trip, whatever.
Do you know how many? If you follow me on Facebook, have you ever seen me with like my bicycle leaned up against one of our agent's signs over the years? I've probably done that dozens of times. What is that saying to people? He likes bicycling, he promotes agents in his office, oh, there's another listing in Olathe area.
Right.
I was just driving down, I don't even know the names, right down the street from me, it's that curve, Dennis Avenue turns into something or another. But there's Kathy Smith's sign. I was doing 45 miles an hour and there's no place to park or whatever, but I will go back to that sign, I will take a picture of it, I will promote Kathy Smith's listing. Because what I'm really doing is promoting Keller Williams and Olathe, I'm promoting a particular agent in our office, and I'm reminding people that I am in real estate as a leader. That's probably why people come to me and say, yeah, I've got kind of a situation, I'm not gonna use it as a leader, because I'm setting myself up that way. And it's like 1 out of every 20 posts that I do. It's not like, I'm in real estate, I'm in real estate, I'm in real estate, I'm in real estate, I'm in real estate. Right?
Well, I think when you were talking about emails and stuff, something that I discovered throughout the years and people have told me too is not necessarily asking for their business, but asking for their help. So in other words, if you go on there, you say, you know, asking for referrals basically, but people tend to want to help you when you're not asking for them.
That's a good point.
The greatest thing that I took from that gold, and Heather, I think you kind of helped me with this too, is calling my peer and asking them for vendors. Hey, I'm in this great class, I'm new to real estate, I'm building, you know, my preferred vendor list, and I need your help. Do you have any specific electricians you recommend, any specific plumbers, any, like, I just went down my list and I was like, who do you have? Who can I trust?
All right, so let's pause for a second. We've been talking about the hobby hustle on the Millionaire Real Estate Agent Playbook 2 that comes back out in October. So order through the front desk if you want one of these. So on page 47. But Nathan just said something, I can't, you guys were just talking about something. On page 37 is strategies of knowing exactly what to say. Bill Jones is an amazing teacher. And he promotes his book here a little bit. It's called Exactly What to Say. And he gives you some things. But he is advocating right now because he's done studies. Quit asking people for referrals. Hey, Susanna, do you have any friends that are thinking about looking at houses? Friends are different. It opens emotionally, the word opens up more than referrals. Referrals is a business transaction. Friends is we're a part of the same team.
Language.
It's a language. So we're gonna take a 10-minute break here before the team meeting and everything. Give me some ahas or some thoughts. Somebody online want to speak up too, but give me some ahas or some thoughts from what you've heard here today.
I like playing poker with my friends, so I'm gonna probably buy like a deck of cards with my information on it. That way, whenever they want to buy, like, and they play all the time, so they'll think of me.
Yeah, so Ezra, if you're playing poker and you want some tips on how to do that, Matt Braswell has probably sold 100 houses playing poker.
Really?
I'm not kidding. So Ezra, that basically means you need to pop by the office sometime when Matt Braswell's here and say, hey, listen, how do you turn poker games into transactions? It's that hobby hustle that we're talking about on page 47. Thank you, Susanna, you were gonna say something?
Oh, I was just saying, I really appreciate these weekly classes, and just kind of the brainstorm and everybody talking, sharing ideas, and just this, and I think that's something that we can get out there. Like, you know, very specific, tangible things that I can know. Put in practice around, which I think sounds like is an element.
That's it. That's it. And by the way, am I going to do, or have I done all 165 things? You really only need 4, probably only 2. So under lead generation, the very first page is the rule of 4. Page 35. But you try everything when you're new, because you're trying to figure out which 2 or 3 just kind of stick to you. I think I told you that the day you started, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you do everything. I converted expireds, I converted FSBOs and hated every single moment of every one of those. I'm serious. Dislike them, dislike the attitude of those particular buyers or sellers, dislike having to justify every single thing without those particular folks. But I needed money, man. Oh, I had to do something in a job I didn't like? Wow, sound like I'm really unique in America.
I think that you were talking about like getting a group, so I like to play basketball, I go to the gym. But then at the end of the day, it's like you don't know how to convert it, but I like to say just tell a story about something that happened.
Yeah,
That's kind of like what
Crazy thing you thought of showing, you know,
yes.
everybody.
yeah, tell about showing, tell about, like I found a guy living in a basement of an old couple who didn't want to, because they were afraid to get rid of him. Out in Waldo, a great story, I don't have time for it now, but like, have you ever gone up for a shot and somebody blocked your shot? And you aren't really playing basketball. Right?
I'm happy.
So, but I mean, when you come over, when the play stops, the guys like give you grief, they will give you grief, right, when they do that? So I think that's rejection, you should hear about this deal I was looking at. I'm serious, learn how to do that in the moment.
And if you don't have business because you're new or you're just slow, use someone else's story.
Yeah,
Doesn't have to be yours.
Sorry.
use somebody else's listening.
And wear a real estate t-shirt. It'll
That's
it'll
why,
last.
yeah, why you play basketball,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
I drove that Mini Cooper around for years. It took years, and for about 7 years, I drove a red Mini Cooper. Remember my red Mini Cooper? And it had my everything on it. And then I bought the second red Mini Cooper. Nobody knew it was a different red Mini Cooper. But they still saw the ads, even though I didn't have the ads on them. And for years, 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 people would say, hey, I saw you going, you were on 435 right by Metcalf the other day. No, I wasn't. I don't even own the car anymore. But what's happening?
Yeah.
Red Mini Coopers mean Chris Lindquist means real estate.
Yeah.
It used to be. I've moved on from certain things just because as you start building teams, it gets harder to do some of the things or keep it. You can't be everything to everybody all the time. But here's what's cool, and I'll leave you with this. You get to shape who you choose. The hobby hustle is a way to shape who you choose to be. If I could, sometimes people get upset with me because they say, I can't believe Chris said that out loud or said that to me. Do you understand that I probably care more about your success sometimes than you guys do? Life is too short to hide in your fears. Be brave today. I'll bet you don't die. I'll bet. All right, so we'll see you guys at the team meeting. Megan got something going for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know, I
Goodbye, everybody. We'll switch Zooms.